Hello everybody, welcome to a new lesson. I hope you're well. In today's lesson, we're going to sketch another portrait. Take your time to set yourself up. First of all, we're going to specify the guidelines. We use a ruler to draw our guiding lines here. Let's start off by drawing a line next to her face. We do one on either side. Next, we do it next to her nose. Make sure your lines are straight. We do it on either side of the nose here. Trying to look at the eyes. And create our vertical lines around each feature. Once you have done your vertical lines, then we move on to draw our horizontal lines. We draw a line underneath the chin. And then another one underneath the nose. Again, make sure your lines are straight. And we draw another horizontal line on this part of the nose. Then underneath the lips. And then another one above the lips. So the idea of the gridding is to surround each facial feature to be able to draw it. Now we're drawing a line underneath the eyes. You have to draw a straight line. So even though your eye on the right is not touching the line, but you want to contain it within that box. Take your time to create your grid lines. Be patient. I'm placing a box or vertical and horizontal lines to create a shape around every facial feature or anything that I need help to guide me where to draw my lines in. Once you are done creating your guiding lines onto your model image as such, the next step would be to apply these guiding lines onto your paper, the paper which you will create your drawing onto. The frame of our paper is the same size as our model image here. This process needs a bit of time, so be patient, make your marks and connect the lines vertically, horizontally. And if at any point in time you're not sure about any next step, just follow my lead. Now we connect the lines like this. Remember to make use of your downloadable resources. They will not only have the outlines and the grids for you to create your base sketch as we're doing, and your guideline technique, but also all the information on every tutorial that you follow. So it'll go step by step, and it'll even have assignments for you to practice with. Remember that it's very good practice to double check your measurements. So if you want to double check anything you're unsure of to make sure you're applying the right lines, it's always very good practice. Making sure my page is nice and clean here. Now we use our model image to make our measurements. You either can use your ruler or your pencil, but for this part it's better to use the ruler. Make your measurements and apply your lines accordingly. This one is 3.6 centimeters. So once I've marked my dots, then I go ahead and put them down on my page. And I connect them like that. The next measurement is 6 centimeters for me. This one is 7 centimeters. Here we have 10.5. This one is 3 centimeters. Now remember, if you choose to create your gridding system differently than what we are doing here, that's completely fine. You need to be comfortable and confident with the gridding system that you choose. Maybe you want less rectangles, less boxes for you to draw your image out of. But either way, I'm here to help. You can send me your gridding technique or your drawing at any stage, and I'm more than happy to give you some feedback. Here, my next line is 4.7 centimeters. This one is 6 centimeters. Our vertical guidelines are almost finished here. I'm just going over my lines again. I want my drawing to be as accurate as possible, so that's why it's good practice to go over your measurements. I'm just marking my points here. I'm making the connection. Now we are going to draw our horizontal lines. Here we have 8.9 centimeters. And again, I know that this can be time consuming and you might feel overwhelmed by it, but the more you practice it, the easier it'll come to you, the quicker you'll do it. And also you'll get to find out what's your preferred gridding system. I'm just marking another point for my horizontal lines. It's about 5 centimeters here. The next one is 11 centimeters. This one is 1.5. Feel free to send me any questions you might have along the way. I'm here to help. The other is 18 centimeters according to the line of the frame here. I continue to create my horizontal lines. Make sure your lines are nice and straight. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to send them to me. I'm usually online. I'm more than happy to give you some feedback and answer your questions. Just take your time. Our next measurement here is 16.5. We're almost done drawing all of our guiding lines here. We want to draw just another line above our head, make that measurement. We measure it, it's about 2.7 centimeters. And we want to add it to our drawing paper here. You mark it on either side and then create that horizontal line. Now our guiding lines are finished. We drew all the horizontal and vertical lines. Now we're going to sketch by using these guidelines. So within these different squares, we want to draw our drawing. Take a moment to observe your model image here just to visually take in that information, the details, And let's start by working on her eyes. Remember that it's okay to practice from the available outlines or even trace them completely at the beginning. Once you've practiced them and you've gained experience, you'll slowly start to do this entire process much faster, and you might even draw freehand if that's something you want to achieve. Next, we are going to draw the iris. Keep observing your model and apply your lines as you see them. Next is the pupil of the eye. Notice if there's any reflection or light parts, like white parts, that you need to indicate on the eye. Feel free to send me your drawings at any stage. I'm more than happy to give you some feedback and maybe some guiding pointers. Now let's sketch the other eye, the eye on the left. Calculate your squares and make sure you place the eye as accurately as possible. If at any point you're not sure what to do or how to draw a certain part, just follow my lead. Mimic my hand movement and my application. Remember that the materials that we're using and the steps that we go through, they're all on your downloadable resources. But if you're using a different material and you want just a little bit more feedback or guiding points as to what to do next with them, just send me a picture of them and I'm more than happy for us to have a chat about it. Keep observing your model image. It has the most information for you, and apply your lines as you see them. Next, we are going to work on the nose. So we've drawn the eyes, we've added the shape of the eyebrows, and now we're starting off with the nostrils of the nose. I want to work on the bridge here of the nose, the connecting part between the eyes and the tip of the nose. Now remember, if the video is too fast or my pace is too fast, always stop the video, take your time to complete your drawing, and then play when you're ready to continue together. Looking at the nose here, I feel like we should edit it. So use your eraser, be it for the nose or any other part. Use your eraser and make your adjustments as you go along. No matter how many times you need to, it's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing to make those edits. The only way to learn is not just to practice, but to also make the mistakes so you're able to see them. Observe your model, make your measurement, and redo any part you need to redo. It's important to keep practicing and put some extra time into drawing before applying the techniques that you've learned in the course. And if you could sketch every day, even if it's just sketching one feature like the eye, the nose, it's always good to keep practicing and improve your skill and get more confident with it. Now we are going to work on the lips. The lips here are slightly angled. Take a moment to observe your drawing every few minutes. It's just a chance to look at it with a bit of fresh eyes and look at what you've drawn so far. You can compare it to your model image, but it's about looking at the proportions and making those edits. Now we are going to draw the shape of the face. So let's start off from the chin here. Use your guiding grid lines to your advantage and try to create that line. This can be challenging as the face that we are drawing is at an angle and there's cloth and hair around. So if you're not sure what to do on a certain part, just follow my lead or copy the line that I'm creating. This is the point where we have a bit of hair growth and we can see a bit of the outline of the hair, so let's recreate that. It suffices to create the general form. I'm going over the chin here, and just to observe the way that line also connects with the shape of the hair. Now I'm going over the right-hand side another time, just editing it a little bit. I want to also draw that part of the hair on the right side, just to show that nice outline and the figure of the face. Keep observing your model image and keep applying your lines as you see them. The guideline under the nose shows the place of the ears as well. Actually, the ear is from the lower part of the eyebrow until the bottom part of the nose, really, or up to the nose. As we know, the ears of this model is covered by her hair and scarf. So first we draw the ear, imagining through the hair and the cover here. But we mainly use our guidelines to draw it. Her hair is wavy. It's important to keep that wave, that characteristic, and form the model and draw it naturally, just in order to have a beautiful sketch and to add to that detail. Make sure you go over all parts, so connect the neck with the cheek and the nose and the eye. There's always some detail that we might have missed. We drew this side of the neck. And over here we have the neck. The rest of her hair and the neck is covered by the scarf. I just want to add my lines in that curvature that they need to be. Next, we are going to specify the area of her scarf and give it a kind of like a nice outline. Now we complete the part of her scarf slowly and patiently. Just take your time and follow my lead. The best way to practice is to follow my hand movements. You could stop the video or fast forward depending on the pace that you're more comfortable with, but also working together is the best way, practicing together, because if my pace is a bit too fast, it might encourage you to create your drawing a little bit quicker and to go over the lines that you might be worried to go over. And if my pace is a bit too slow, then it might actually slow you down and help you to add those details that might be missing. Now we are going to draw the upper part of the head here. Pay attention to the form of her scarf, just in order to draw that detail as similarly and as accurately as your model image. We try to sketch the same lines or as closely to our model image, just to avoid creating details from our own mind. The image is there with a lot more information than any drawing would have, and it's there to give you those details of highlights and shadows. So use your model image as your reference just so you can enjoy drawing, enjoy sketching, and focus on that part. Now remember that if you've used different materials, maybe you've used a color pencil or a pen liner or any other material you're more comfortable with or that's only available to you, don't be discouraged. If you have any questions about it, just send me a message or send me a picture of your materials, and I'm more than happy to give you some feedback. Just keep drawing, keep practicing, and enjoy the process. We are trying to complete the shape of the scarf here, just to give it that texture. Continue adding as many details as you can. We want to pay attention to the ups and downs or the curvature of the lines of her scarf in order to draw them correctly and to get those creases, in order just to create a bit of dimension, like give our work a bit of dimension, just so it's not very flat. Now here, this is the crown of her head, and the hair is directed to the left. You have some hairs, of course, directed to the right, but this is the separation. Drawing portraits in general takes quite a long time, especially if you want to go into more detail and add shading. So be patient, follow my lead, and again, you could fast forward if you wanted to, if your pace is a bit quicker than what I'm doing here. Now I'm using my kneaded eraser here. A kneaded eraser, use it in this dotted motion, the same way that I'm using, just to clean up your image and remove any excess lines and to make some lines lighter. I'm going over the eyes here. You want to just consider the texture in there, just to see and avoid the light parts and only shade the darker parts. We're adding a medium shade to the eyes here, to the iris. And again, leaving a part of it lighter. We darken this top part a little bit more. We do the same for the other eye. Now we're going to use a light pencil, like a B pencil or a HB pencil. And we shade the light part of the eye. That's the white socket area. And we're using these really light hatching lines. Observe my application. I'm adding the shading as I see it. Next, we shade this part and the white part of the eye as well, so we're working on the other eye. We shade the lower part of the eye. I'm doing it very lightly. I'm just trying to give some definition around the eye. Now we're going to shade the upper part of the eyes. Keep observing your model. We shade the other eye as well. Now we are going to use the B6 pencil, and we darken this part just a little bit more. You want to use this pencil to shade the darker parts. It gives you that intensity a lot quicker. Make sure you're conscious of the pressure you're placing on your pencil. I'm observing my drawing, so look at your drawing, look at what you've achieved so far. It gives you a sense of what might be missing, just when you take that moment. And then again, you want to go over the dark parts. Next, we're going to use the B pencil, and we're going to use it to shade the eyebrow at first. Now we are going to create the strands of the eyebrows and then the eyelashes. We use a dark pencil for the eyelashes and a light pencil for our eyebrows because they are sparse and a little bit lighter, so you don't need that intensity. There's also the technique of applying the lines both for the eyebrows and the eyelashes. So observe my application. We are going to use a B2 pencil and draw the strands of the eyebrows. You're doing them one by one. So they're also sparsed out, and you want those single hairlines to show, just to give more detail to your work. This is how you add a depth of perception, meaning there's more to look at. We use the sharp point of our pencil, so we should sharpen it before creating the strands of the eyebrows, just to be able to get those delicate lines. Again, we use the B2 pencil for the lower eyelashes, as we mentioned before, because they are thin and they have less density, unlike the upper eyelashes. Now we use a dark pencil, such as a B6 pencil, and we're going to use that for the upper eyelashes so they have more definition. Observe my application. First, we are specifying where the eyelashes are, as it's a bit light on this eye, and then we go in to draw the eyelashes. You're doing them one by one. Now we are going to work on the nose. We use a light pencil like the B pencil here, and we add hatchers in these parts. Observe your model image. Take note of where the highlights are, where the shaded parts are, just to know whether to apply more of the hatching lines and create a shadow, or less and to have a highlight. You want to curve your lines according to the shape. We're building that part that connects to the eyes, and now we add hatchers between the eyebrows in order to create the dimension of the nose a little bit more. Take a moment to look at your drawing, just to get a sense of what might be missing. Now we use a dark pencil like a B4 pencil, and we darken the nostrils. We use this pencil to add more shades in this part. Now we are going to work on the lips. First of all, we're going to create the space between the two lips. So there's some detailing that's important in the curvature of the lines, and some interesting hatchers that you could add. So the lips are an interesting feature. We shade the lips with hatching lines using a B4 pencil. We darken the dark parts in order to create the dimension of the lips. After that, we use the B pencil or a HB pencil, and we shade this part of her face. Now, we don't work on these parts a lot because we want to show the eyes, the lips, and the nose more. We want them to stand out a bit more, but we want to give a very light tonality to the cheeks or the other parts that are more muted. Look how lightly I'm applying my lines. Now you do the same for the other side. Now remember, the more you practice, the easier all of this will come to you. You'll be quicker, you'll be more confident, but just keep practicing. Now we are going to work on her hair. We're going to use a dark pencil, such as a B6 pencil. Take your time and apply those delicate lines according to the shape of the hair. Don't forget to send me the results of your assignments or your practices. I'm more than happy to take a look. I'm always curious to see what practices students have done. I'm here to help you with those. We continue adding the details as we see them. And I hope you're enjoying this process. I know it's challenging. It's definitely a big challenge, but it's the only way to get better is to practice and to make some mistakes and to try to discover a bit more about our own style. Other than sharing with me practices of this current drawing or parts of it, or sharing it with me at any stage, I'm more than happy to receive your drawings of anything else, really. We can have a chat about it and maybe make some comparisons and talk about the progress, whether you feel you've progressed, and what we can do next. I'm going over the hair on the other side here. We want our image to look more complete, so try to add your details in the whole surrounding. That's what I mean by going over all parts. As mentioned before, take a moment to take a look at your drawing. Just stop, maybe look away, look back at your drawing with fresh eyes, just to notice what might be missing, what needs more shading or more highlight, and so on. I'm working on the hairline here, on the separation of the hair as well, just to differentiate it from the veil. Now we're not going to add much shading on the scarf. We just darken some lines here just to show those creases. I'm adding some light lines on the hair here. I'm applying them really lightly. Now I'm working even lighter than before. We're only giving some dark lines for the outline of the scarf so we can separate it from the hair, and thus it gives us more attention to the facial features. As you can see, some parts of the work remain white. It's the white of the page. Now we use a kneaded eraser in this manner, the way I'm using it, just to remove any excess marks, just to clean up our work here. We can remove black stains using it. We can make some lines lighter as well. And as a result, you have a cleaner artwork, more clear, more defined. So take your time, observe your image altogether. If there are surrounding outside guiding lines that you feel you want to get rid of, you can use a hard eraser to do that. But in general, we don't want the work to look dirty. We want the page to look nice and clean, so it does our work some justice. And that way you can achieve a really good result. That's it for today's tutorial. I really hope you've enjoyed today's drawing class and you were able to practice further your techniques, your drawing skills, and yeah, see you in the next tutorial.